The following podcast has been brought to you by Audible.com. Sign up now using the URL audibletrial.com/TTV to get a free audiobook of your choosing. We recommend Brick by Brick, How LEGO Rewrote the Rules of Innovation and Conquered the Global Toy Industry. You may recognize this as one of the sources we use in our show, Bionicle Autopsy. Remember, that's audibletrial.com/TTV. Enjoy the show. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, sing.
Hello, everybody, and welcome.
Yeah, I really wonder how this affects our audience retention. I really question this.
Mardi Gras.
Hello and welcome to the TTV Podcast, episode 144. Stop it! Silence!
I just wanted to have some fun too.
When Meso finally breaks, will there ever be a Mardi Gras after this point?
Yeah, of course there will.
His state listens to this and they're too terrified to actually host one.
Yeah. Anyway, 144. Woo. Hey, how's it going, guys?
Wow, Meso, you've got an attitude today, huh?
Yeah. It's gonna be problem. It's gonna be one of those days.
Yeah, Var, you know, Meso and I this week we heard what you were saying last week. You were getting on our case about being late, so we're here early, but we're starting at the exact same time we did last week.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, this episode isn't really a normal episode.
No. I'll tell you guys straight up, you're gonna hate it. Not any Bionicle news.
Wow.
No, that's not what I mean. I don't mean you're gonna hate the episode. I mean you're gonna hate the fact that there's no Bionicle news. However, we're compensating because we're gonna actually talk about message boards stuff later on.
You sound so angry.
I'm really angry. Okay, here's what happened. I got on earlier than usual, and I was all ready to go, and I was like, yeah, it's gonna be a good episode. Var asked me a question, and as I went to answer, Skype crashed out of nowhere, and I spent easily like 15 to 20 minutes trying to reboot it, and it kept freezing mid-boot up.
It was about...
Skype is a terrible program!
It was about 10 minutes, Mesa.
Yeah, it's all a downgrade. I can't believe there isn't like a single program that's at least on the same level as Skype. Because Skype sucks. It's such a bad program. It's so buggy, it's so glitchy, it barely ever works.
I'm going to downgrade Skype. Takuma, you're still using the old Skype post-redesign, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
And you can join calls and everything, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna do it right after this episode. I'm getting it.
There is a really great competitor for new Skype, and it's just old Skype. Also Var. Since when was Skype Captain America's sidekick?
What?
I don't know why you're trying to make it sound like I said Bucky, but I said Buggy.
You totally said Bucky.
He said Buggy.
I said Buggy.
You fool.
You are hearing things.
You moron.
You're an idiot. I can't wait to go back into this recording and hear myself say Buggy, just so I can point it out to you later on and say, "Ha, I was right. You're fired." Because you're trying to make a deal out of something that doesn't exist.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'll stop it.
Yeah, but basically...
Learn your place.
Basically, I'm mad. It's a good thing we don't have any Bionicle news to talk about, or I'd be super negative.
You're not already?
No, I'm not. I'm just kind of mad.
Oh.
For what it's worth. It's going to be... if we really try, and we give it our all, it's going to be a okay episode, because...
It was only 20 minutes, Meso.
Well, go ahead and introduce ourselves. I'm Mesnak.
I'm Barterin.
I'm LJ.
I'm Takuma.
And once again, this is TTV 144.
My God, Meso.
So
you need to get some pep in your step.
The best way to appeal to me is with a rhyme. Okay, consider me pepped. Consider me pepped right now. Let's
my
do
goodness,
this.
you're
Why
like a
not
Dr. Seuss character.
What do you have against Coke, dude? Are you a Mountain Dew fan?
Coke is awful. Quite ironically and completely, I'm being serious. This isn't for the purpose of the joke. I prefer Dr. Pepper.
Ew.
Coke
That's
is like an
nasty.
atrocity, and I
Like,
can't
Dr.
recall
Pepper's
what Pepsi
all right and
even
everything,
tastes
but
like.
like you like it over Coke or Pepsi?
I can't speak to Pepsi. I haven't had that enough.
Well, I mean, Pepsi is
It's all
basically Coke,
nasty.
but sweeter.
Yeah.
Soda in general is nasty.
I gotta let you in on a little secret. I can't tell the difference between either of the three.
You can't tell the difference between Dr. Pepper and Coke.
Nope.
You are completely full of crap.
Okay, well, hang on. Maybe not Dr. Pepper, but at least Pepsi and
That must be why
Pepsi
it's all
and
he comes out of his mouth.
Pepsi and Coke.
He backpedals like, oh no.
Well, I had to think about it. I was getting the two mixed up.
Dr. Pepsi.
You said all three!
Oh, yeah, I did.
Oh my god.
Dr. Pepsi.
Dr. Pepsi.
Man, it's all man. Oh man, but no.
So I also want to mention the fact that I tried to go to bed last night and I just could not go to bed. I've had this several times this week where I've tried to go to bed and I just have a sudden urge to do something. Like I'm like in the middle of about to I'm about to fall asleep and then I'm just like, I could be spending this time working on something, and I will consistently think of that for like the next hour until I just eventually give up trying to go to sleep and get up and actually do something.
Yeah, and then the thoughts prevent you from going to sleep. I know how that goes.
So it's like I just need to get up and work on something. So I haven't gone to sleep at all. I've been up for like quite a few hours now. Like
Ouch.
22
Wow.
hours.
Gotta drink your energy drink.
Yeah, you're Dr. Pepsi.
I was actually very disappointed.
Those aren't energy drinks.
Dr. Pepsi.
You know, I have not had a lot of energy drinks. I've had one energy drink in the recent few years that I can recall. It's like
no one
Venom.
cares.
I've never had one.
I'm sorry.
You didn't even have a real energy drink. You had like a cheap Big Lots knockoff energy drink.
Yeah, that's exactly it, too.
Oh my god. But anyway, what I was saying was that I'm really, really tired. So
Okay.
Fair enough. Well, I can relate.
Messer's irritable. I'm tired. LJ is LJ.
Stupid.
And that's bad enough. And then we got Takuma over here, who's just always irritable.
I
And then
I'm in a good
who
mood today.
Where the heck is everyone else?
Kai's at a graduation party. Vin's off being Vin. X is probably doing some weird thing, and Viper's going to a party.
X is doing some weird thing.
It's like, that's some pasta ritual.
Yeah, I don't know about X. He's a kooky character.
Yeah, kooky like a bird.
Exactly.
Is he an Oreo or a Chips Ahoy?
It's a cookie. but probably an Oreo.
Probably an Oreo.
Oh man. Well,
Okay, well,
we've
Now that our
it's been-
attention
it's
is
been a rather
completely
interesting
erased.
week for us.
yeah. Now that everyone's clicked off the video, let's actually start talking about
Yeah,
something.
it's been an interesting week for us. We haven't really put up a lot of videos on the channel, but we've been doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes.
Oh,
Well, we always are.
Yeah, but
Well,
this
yeah.
time we're actually going to have something to show for it within the next couple weeks, I'm thinking. Maybe even the next week, I don't know.
See, you say that, and now that you've said that, we're not going to have anything to show.
At
for it.
least one thing that we've done
See,
the last couple days will
See,
be out
here-
next week.
No.
Here's the thing that I've learned with you guys
What?
and with
No.
us is that whenever we say, "Oh, we are totally going to release this," we don't release it.
But one
See, that's
thing's
why-
a definite lock.
That is why I didn't set any dates for the multiple things we're working on. I didn't want to ask, but yeah, now Messa, you jinxed it.
Yeah, you absolutely do. We're gonna one of our computers is gonna brick. Skype is gonna virus up your computer. You're gonna lose everything.
It's gonna
And-
get into our Dropbox and erase all that we've built up.
and then everything will be not released. The thing is that there's so many times where we're always working on things. I don't think people understand that sometimes. That even in the down times of TTV, we're usually planning something, plotting something to be released soon.
Yeah.
Our downside is we plan too much. But
Our
I know,
downside-
you guys suck. I'm the only one who ever does. Me and LJ are the only people that ever do anything.
Yay.
Whoa,
Yeah, we're all
whoa,
just
wait a
planning.
minute, wait a minute.
Uh-oh.
Well, let's
Website
be
man.
real here. You were working on that. You were going to be working on that RPG regardless of whether you were part of TTV or not.
I think he's talking about the website.
Oh.
Both.
Okay, fine. Fair enough. The website was good. Although
It's not done yet.
Yeah, it was good until the YouTube API stopped working.
YouTube's another terrible program / service.
It's not a program.
You know they changed their font for no reason.
Okay, I swear.
Messa, you sound drunk.
You're right.
YouTube is also another bad program.
For no reason.
Did you know they changed font?
But no, seriously, did you see it? They altered it for no good reason, and it doesn't look bad, but it's just one of those questionable things. Like YouTube's got a huge list of problems, and they changed their font.
Wait, I actually haven't noticed this.
Your
What are you talking
Pessinac
about?
has evolved into Depresso Meso.
They changed their font for like video titles, not
for video
on
titles?
the videos, but on your channel page, and then the descriptions and the comments.
Oh, they did change the font.
Yeah, it's a lot thicker now.
Yeah, and it's not like it looks bad, but it's just weird.
What an odd change to make.
I don't know
Yeah.
why they would do it.
Well, I know they're also working on a new video player that they haven't made universal yet for whatever reason.
Great.
It's gonna break the site, and we're all gonna hate it, and we're gonna.
I actually quite like it. I've had it for the past month now.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it looks pretty nice. It just takes the bar that has the time frame and everything, and it kind of just changes the opacity so it's opaque, so you can see the video through it. That's really about all.
That's
pretty cool.
The opposite of opaque.
Or whatever, dude.
You know, now that you mention it,
Transparent.
Oh my gosh,
translucent, I don't care.
misinformation. All up in this business.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I'm spreading misinformation.
You gotta be careful of that nowadays, Var.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
But no, it's we're working on 4 or 5 or 6 things right now, and some of them obviously I won't promise are going to be out within the next couple of weeks, but hopefully some of them will be.
I just got more time to work on stuff.
If we say we're working on something and then it's not out within the week, people in our channel are just gonna be like, "Oh, they're clearly not working on anything."
Yeah,
like they always do.
No, they're also always like, "You guys never talk about BIONICLE."
Well, I mean,
there's not much to talk about.
I mean that's a valid complaint, but at the same time,
if you want,
it's not a very realistic one.
I mean, there's no BIONICLE story developments right now. There's no BIONICLE set developments right now, and the mask hunt contest just ended, which I forgot to enter. I was gonna enter a picture of my electrical socket.
Oh my gosh!
As the mask of ice, but I didn't do it. And there's a thunderclap.
Oh sorry, yeah, I can hear that.
Yeah, my bad.
Well, you know what, Meso? You had that coming.
I was gonna enter the electrical socket. I was gonna enter other stuff that I forget that wasn't as good as the electrical socket, and I was hoping that I was gonna win, and I didn't win.
Well, yeah, you didn't enter.
Point being, there's nothing going on with BIONICLE. Now, if you guys are really desperate and you really want us to talk, we can recycle some stupid conversations we had on
Wow!
whether the exclusive blue cow was trans blue or transparent.
Who do you guys think is
blue?
Who do you guys think is going to be the 7th Toa?
Foriki!
I wonder if we're even gonna get a 7th Toa.
No, I'm talking we're talking 2003 throwback here, okay?
I see.
That totally went over your heads.
Good job, Slowpoke.
I told you I got no sleep, dude.
It's an interesting prospect. Will we get a 7th Toa? I think it's a lot more likely than a lot of people's pipe dream, which is the Protectors become Toa. Why are you laughing?
You're talking so funny this episode.
That sounded like the beginning of a Dr. Phil episode. Will we get a 7th Toa?
Well, no, I'm just pondering because a lot of people seem to believe that the Protectors are going to turn into Toa. which I don't think
know
is
why.
going to happen at all.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen.
I hate to
reason
break
they have
it
to
to
think
you.
that is because of Generation 1. There's no other basis.
Yeah, there's no reason to think that the Protectors and the Toa are the same species.
Yeah, and there's no real reason to think that we're going to get a 7th Toa either, but I think on the list of possibilities, it's probably more likely.
Yeah. Especially since it's very evident that the current story team is taking inspiration from the direct first 3 years.
Yes.
I think it's possible, but I don't think there's enough concrete evidence to suggest
spoiling
it's
my
going to
autopsy.
happen.
I think it's going to be a Kimu.
A Kimu? Really?
No.
Actually, to be perfectly
No.
honest, Messo's probably not wrong.
There's a rumor that a Kimu gets like a Toa set in 2016, but it's just a baseless rumor.
I mean, fair enough. I guess he could get an upgrade. But
Yeah.
would he actually be a Toa, though?
No, I think it'd just be like an
A
upgraded
bigger,
version of himself.
just a bigger Akimu.
XL. Oh no! Our first XL.
A Kimu
Kimu XL.
Kimu
No.
2.0.
I'd probably quit BIONICLE. I'm sorry, that sounds
Meso.
harsh, but I had enough of the XLs. It's just,
That's the alcohol talking.
wow. No.
Lay off the bullaberries.
It's the 5 years of Hero Factory
It's a good
fandom that's talking. There were too many XLs, and they never made any sense.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
I mean, it's not like it's going to actually be called XL. It'll just be a bigger...
You think,
Akimu.
but you don't know.
I don't think they would call it XL, Meso.
I think it's quite... I never thought they'd call it XL to start with, but they did.
I don't think they're going to call it XL.
Okay.
I think that... I mean, even if they wanted to, I feel like they would be like, yeah, it's too close to Hero Factory. Let's not do that.
Yeah. I also think that another reason we may likely get a 7th Toa is because as far as introducing new teams of 6 or new characters, I don't think so. I think the 6 Toa are going to be the primary heroes for all of Bionicle's lifespan. But they can introduce new named characters if they do it gradually, since they seem to have a stigma against names. If they do like one a year, it'll work.
Well, I'm hoping that if they're moving towards a more traditional storytelling sense, that maybe they'll feel a bit better with getting some more names in there, not to
Here's
spoil
hoping.
anything.
We'll see what happens. But
that'd be interesting.
Yeah, it would
the
be.
future's going to be very interesting. I know the negativity has been creeping into other
It's
aspects
gushing out of you.
people. No. I'm saying it's been creeping into other people's posts, but not mine.
Oh, I love gushers.
Only there.
Var.
I've had one of those.
What would a
in like 10 years.
negativity gusher taste like?
But
Probably
there was
like motor oil
there was
and
a topic
shoes.
that like kicked it up to 11 by one of our mod squad members, MT Zehvor. He was like, "Why the new Bionicle story will be terrible."
Oh, I hate MT.
You and Kai.
No, I don't actually hate MT.
And he goes into like why he thinks that it's going to be bad, and I think that it's like
I
a
haven't
huge
seen
post.
this topic.
It's a huge post, but
Where?
I can probably summarize it. Here's a link for you.
Oh, okay.
It's it all
He
boils
summarizes.
down to, he says, oh yeah, I'll just read the TLDR. TLDR version, new Bionicle is going to be terrible because it's ignoring world building, which arguably made Bionicle great to begin with, and instead focusing on trying to develop a few characters, which is something LEGO has always been average at best at, and is usually much worse. And I think what he means is there's too much emphasis on giving the Toa weird personality quirks and not enough on building the world.
Oh yeah. Okay, I did read
To
this
which
post.
I say, like, Bionicle 2015 has a lot of problems. I don't think the Toa's personality quirks are really one of them.
But Meso, Onua falls asleep if he meditates.
No. Like, that's quirky and fans may not like it, but it's not really a problem. You know? Like, I heavily doubt that they took their team that was going to build Okoto and they said, don't do this, and instead sit down and write these text biographies, and that's your job.
I just don't think it's fair to make any kind of statement like this after just like a couple months into the line.
Actually, that's one of his arguments. He says that it probably should have established itself within the first 4 months, because this is its crunch time. It's new. It's time to prove itself.
Okay, so I'm kind of standing in the middle as far as like the personality quirks
Only the
and
people
stuff.
that need to be proven to, like the old fans, but we already know they're not necessarily marketing this line towards old fans.
Fair point.
So the way I look, okay, I'm kind of like I just said, I'm kind of in the middle on the personality quirks, if we're calling them that thing, in that having them isn't a problem, but it probably would have been better if these were something that we caught on to over time that just appeared in their personality, rather than having it splattered right in their bio. Hey, this person's bad at telling jokes. It would have been better if we just got that, like through the episodes and the books and something that, hey, golly, really can't tell a joke very well.
Well, we'll probably
I agree.
get that eventually.
Let us learn these things. It's the basic principle of telling a story: show, don't tell.
Well, I'm sure when the story...
I still think it's too early to make a statement like that and have it be truly fair, because we haven't even gotten our first book yet.
The story hasn't even gotten a chance to show yet.
Yeah,
I'm not saying anything in regards to the story. It's just the fact that I think they could have better spent their, I don't know what you want to call it, bio real estate on something that mattered more.
Fair enough. Instead of
still
getting
have these
paragraphs
personality
upon
quirks,
paragraphs,
but don't throw them in your face right out the door. Let us learn something about them. Instead of trying
I suppose,
to force
but then what would they have on their website? It just kind of
maybe paragraphs upon paragraphs talking about Okoto.
Is it? I don't necessarily think we should focus on the personality quirk so much. What about their quote special moves? Like Tahu's flame spin dash. It sounds like an anime attack.
Okay,
like they're gonna shout it out when they attack, like the skeleton.
It's meant to be funny. Like Pohatu's kaboomerang.
Oh my gosh!
Which is where he explodes in a burst of sand and
I'm not sure if that's necessarily meant to be funny per se, but
I think it's meant to make you chuckle.
I mean, it makes me chuckle. Was the
intention.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I mean, I don't really mind it, but it's kind of the same thing. And I mean, the names are clever.
See, you see, there's a fine line. There's the part where the name is cool, and there's a part where the name is so bad it's hilarious. This is in the middle, where it's just bad.
Is it?
I would have rather them cut the Toa bios and put a couple bios talking about the island. That's just me.
But then we wouldn't know who our main characters are.
Don't care. We'll find out in the story. Maybe put one sentence.
Well, we might find out what Okoto's like in the story.
Maybe
I think the main character is a bit more important than the location.
Yeah. Maybe one sentence. Tahu is the hot-headed leader of the Toa Kodo.
Be realistic. If that was what we got, you would be complaining about that.
Yeah,
it's a trade-off. I don't think the Toa bios have added to the story in any meaningful way. I think bios about the island would have added to the story in a meaningful way.
But the story has had little to do with the island itself so far.
Exactly. That's why it needs to be fleshed out in supplemental material.
Why
we can learn about our characters.
Why flesh out something that doesn't matter?
Well, maybe it would matter.
It's like, hey, here's a new pair of glasses. Everything you see through the lens is going to be incredibly blurry, but everything around the edges of your eyes will be super clear.
BIONICLE clearly has
we were
limited
just getting you were just saying how this we want them to show us, not tell us. So why would making more bios help that?
Because if they don't do it,
you're just replacing one evil with another evil.
It's a worst case scenario thing. If we're obviously not going to
personally, I don't agree. I don't think learning about the island is more important than learning about the main characters, especially since this is a new line. And I thought actually figuring out that as a reboot, whether these characters are the same Toa that we've grown up with for the past 10 years or not was kind of important. Obviously, now that we've gotten this information, in hindsight, we can see, okay, it's not that different. But I'm just thinking, if they did this whole thing, started BIONICLE off, and we didn't get any kind of bios regarding the Toa or anything, there would be complaints.
Well, that's why I'm saying consolidate the bios. You don't need to go into their life story and give them like quirks and give them weapon attack
I don't think giving them
names,
quirks is going into the life story.
like attack names and stats and all this stuff. Like
I also don't think attack names and stats really took that much time to do.
Exactly. It wouldn't have taken too much time to talk about the island either. It's like
I think it probably would have taken more time to talk about the island.
website is oddly skewed.
To be honest, I don't think I'm not sure if that's necessarily comparable. I have a feeling that making a bio for the location of the land and who lives in it and all that stuff is a bit more time consuming than just saying Pohatu has a kaboomerang.
No, Var, Pohatu's scared the dark.
Whatever.
And kaboomerang's one of his attacks.
I don't know. I think that in the context of this topic we're reading, it's talking about. I'm gonna just. Read
I'll be honest. I haven't read the topic. I didn't
Yeah.
know about the topic until you posted it. So
I'll read a paragraph from it verbatim. It says, while some people may say that 3 months is too quickly to judge a story, I'd argue that the 3 months thing is exactly what condemns Bionicle already. Wow, harsh words.
Thanks,
Bionicle
UT.
only spent 3 months actually setting up the island of Okoto. Within that 3 months, we were never introduced to any of the villages, only introduced to one protector, never met any villagers, and the only kind of wildlife we met are a group of spiders who are almost assuredly going to be removed from the plotline forever after the end of this year. We know nothing of the customs, habits, or lifestyle of these villagers. Moreover, the Toa have already left their respective areas and arrived at the ancient city, and if, as seems to be suggested, the rest of the year ends up being a battle between the Toa and the various skull beings, we're not going to be getting back to the villages anytime soon. So LEGO spent a grand total of 3 months actually establishing the island at all. Most of that's minimal, and it's extremely unlikely we're ever going to be getting back to a position where we could possibly be world building for a while. By the time we could get back to it, it will likely be at least a full year into the new story's lifetime, and by that point it's arguably far too late to begin establishing a setting.
I mean, it's not like we're leaving the island of Okoto.
No,
Wow.
but it's all about the framework for filling us in. It's like... So, okay, I'm going to use an example. Going to Bar Magna, and like we spend 2009 in Bar Magna, and 2010... Literally the only time that they would have had to fill us in on the location is when Bar Magna was... Like, I was going to make a point, maybe after Makuta's defeated, they could fill us in on the location of Bar Magna, but then it got transformed. So unless something similar happens to Okoto, they've missed their window.
Well, let's also keep in mind, and MT also said that he believes the best part about Bionicle to be 2001 and its world building. So that's a lot where he's coming from. Var,
Yeah, that's a
you,
common
Kahi, and I had a
perspective I actually
conversation
don't
about...
agree with.
Yeah, and I don't agree with that because I think it's actually very similarly being handled in comparison to what we were getting now to 01.
Yeah.
There wasn't a whole lot of world building that actually happened in 01. When did Minog come out?
Minog was there from word go.
It was? Okay.
It was a chapter per month starting from January.
And let's be honest, it was pretty much the only thing that built the world.
Well, it was from World Go for Americans.
Yeah,
Didn't the sets come out?
Yeah.
Yeah, it came out a year after the sets.
So
were actually
it was
available.
January 2001, and then every month a new section got released.
Yeah.
I think that's how they were trying to release the webisodes, but someone screwed up somewhere, and everything just got spoiled. Because otherwise, I think we'd be getting what would we be getting now? We'd be getting the next episode this month. We wouldn't have seen episode 9 until this month, so that way the summer starts in June.
Makes sense.
I guess that does make sense, although it also doesn't make sense that they would make you wait a month for 90 seconds worth of animation, but...
No, maybe
I
2
think,
a month.
You know, I understand why they did it in, retrospect, but, yeah, it's kind of unfortunate. If they made it longer...
But yeah, but even comparing this whole thing to 2001, sure, in comparison to us as Americans and how we were able to get into the line, sure, we were able to get a few more story elements, a few more world building sooner than now with 2015, but that wasn't universal. That was basically only for this country. Everywhere else, they had the sets like a year before any story material was actually available.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
If anything, 2015 is better off than 01 actually was when it first began.
At least everybody
everyone's
starts
on
with
an
the
even keel.
playing field. Yeah,
Yeah.
fair enough. That
When
is
did
an
the
important
comics
thing.
come out?
Comics came out in July 2001.
In July, okay. And that is where we got the story as far as the Toa go.
Yeah. In fact, it was all supposed to tie together because little does anybody know, LEGO did intend for there to be a Bionicle movie as well as the Bionicle game. The huge, like, PC-ROM game. Ever heard of a ROM, guys? No? Okay. And it was supposed to tie everything.
PC-ROM?
Monog and the comics, they were supposed to tie into those two things. Well, because of Galador's failure, LEGO didn't want to pour any more movie into anything film-related, so the movie was chopped.
They want to pour a movie into anything. I'm beginning to question who's really the drunk one here.
Well, you see, I had some tea before this.
Shut up, LJ.
But no. Okay. But then the game fell through, so you have the comics, which have an open end, and it was up to Monog to finish everything up. So that's, and in the end, that's why all the Toa seemed very mysterious. You didn't know them very well. What you did know came from the comics and the book that came out in 2003.
And I didn't like the Kathy Hapka books.
Well, not many, but
I don't remember them.
Yeah. So
yeah, it's a good point. We didn't even get any books in 2003.
Mm-hmm. So honestly, yes, we are a lot better off right now than we were in 2001. Unless you want the Toa to be mysterious, powerful characters like in the Golden Age, then you probably don't agree.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a different way of storytelling as well. Like, the Toa were handled a bit differently.
Exactly, and this is where I really
there was more focus on the Toa as figures, more so than the Toa as characters in 2001.
Yeah.
Whereas with this, they're relatable people.
Yeah, they're trying to make the Toa the focus here, whereas...
And here's the difference, and this is where I disagree, because like I've been saying, the world building is you should have been handled over the characters. Well, the crux of the topic starter, to his point, is that Bionicle is bad now because they're focusing on characters and not world building, and Bionicle was never particularly good at establishing characters. Which I don't know about really
that.
Agree with.
I don't think that's a fair statement to make because it's a completely different group of people working on it.
His proof is that how about that time LEGO tried to make a movie where half the screen time was focused on Vakama going through a rebellious teenage phase. Yeah, exactly. But that's the lowest of the low. How about the Chroniclers Company?
Yeah, that is pure supplemental
How about
stuff.
Matoro's death, which everybody freaked out at because he was a beloved character?
I didn't care for Matoro.
Yeah, I didn't care either. But
I didn't care either.
I'm being devil's advocate.
Beside the point.
People
did care.
There are characters in Bionicle that people did like. So to say that characters are not a good thing to focus on, not really true.
I don't agree with that. In fact, I think characters are far more important. I think that's the most influential. That's basically a lot of my favorite stories, just because I enjoy the characters more than just the world building or the lore. Like Harry Potter is like my favorite book series as a kid. I didn't like that just because they're wizards. I like that because the characters were really interesting to read about. I think characters are important. I don't understand why we can't just balance between world building and character development.
Well,
sure, at this point in time, as a fresh start out, they're trying to focus on the characters because the characters are what they're trying to sell.
Mm-hmm. They're not trying to sell little models of Okoto.
Well, technically, LEGO is about
that would be interesting.
The concept of world building is
get like a snow.
I know if Kai was here, he'd be saying this, so I gotta say it on his behalf. We're buying Lego, and Lego is about creativity. And one of the reasons Bionicle took off was because there was such a rich mythology behind it. And if you wanted to make custom stories, you had a place where you could have settings for your battles.
That's true.
And you could do stuff. And, like, that element is lost. As of current. Could always change.
I still don't necessarily agree. I think Bionicle definitely started out with a very rich mythology, but a lot of that mythology was hidden in shadows. Everything was really vague and kind of left to interpretation. There wasn't a whole lot to really work with.
I was going to say, the complaints about world building, how much did we really know more at this time during the first run than we do with this one now? I mean, just the island. Okay, so it's divided into regions. We know that. Each region has its own villages or whatever. We know that. What more is there to say about the island? Like,
Here.
I mean,
the fact
if
that
you're going
there's
by
a
5 months
thing in the-
I've probably visited all the villages by now.
I can tell you. I can
Fair enough,
actively tell you
but-
that right now.
still, just seeing the villages doesn't tell us that much about it.
Yeah, we've
I mean,
seen
at
what
most-
the villages look like.
At
for
most, we know
2015.
that there's
Yeah,
some
they're
sort of
palette
temple
swaps.
at the middle of the island, and that each village has its own sort of trade or culture.
Which
Granted,
is
that
important stuff.
that does count as world building, but I can't think of anything beyond that. Oh, the tree people like to be the hippies dancing all day. The Pokorons are the carvers and stuff. So we don't know
you're right.
So we don't know the trades of the protectors. Big whoop.
You're very right. But by definition, all of what you said is like more than what we currently have. So.
Yeah, I know. But it's not that much
Even
more.
when you break it down into like the barest, the bear, that's still
For Americans
for Americans.
who were delayed a year in getting the sets.
But I guarantee you, by the end of this year, that will still be more.
Well, then
What do
you
we
can
know?
make the discussion at the end of the year.
Okay, I'll remember.
But like what
Going
I
back
keep
at
saying,
you.
and the point that I keep making is that it's too early to make this kind of statement. It's not
Fair
a
enough.
fair statement to make at this point in time.
Fair
We don't
enough.
have enough information to know what's going on, what's going to be released this year, what we're going to be able to see, all the world building that might happen until the year is done. Then we can look back and say, yeah, LEGO really botched that year.
Yeah.
But we can't do it this
Yeah.
early in the year, only a few months in.
Just one more thing to consider is the fact that not only is this a different generation, different people working on it, it's a different purpose as well. They're actively trying to bring back BIONICLE in some way, shape, or form. The first run, BIONICLE was basically an experiment.
Quite right.
So it's just the purpose of the line is completely different. So yeah.
Yeah, I just think it's easy to look back on information that we've gotten in the past and with hindsight be able to connect the dots and everything, but I just don't think
It's too soon.
that's how it was during 2001 when people were just getting into the line.
For 2001, I'm looking at the release schedule for Monog, and by May, we could go to Onukoro and help out with the Lightstones and whatnot, but we could not go past Onukoro. So we still didn't have access fully to the island.
Well, that changed.
So all we've got is what?
The stoop.
Gakoro, Takoro, Onukoro? Or
Yeah,
no, not Onukoro.
Pokoro, Gakoro, Onukoro, and
Oh,
not even Takoro.
fair enough. 3 villages.
And what did we really
So-
know? We knew basically nothing about Gakoro. Pokoro, they play a sport.
We know more than-
Onukoro, they live underground and dig stuff.
The marginalization doesn't work because that's like more than we know now.
Well, first of all, actually, correction, we did have Takoro. And second of all, keep in mind we could still talk to all the characters and do all the normal stuff. I'm not saying they cut content when they released these, but these are the sections that got released per month.
Yeah.
We could explore an entirely new region, which, granted, is certainly more than we have now as far as world building goes.
Right.
And, I
I mean,
gotta-
that's fair enough.
I'm
but-
going to
It's just
backpedal something
different
I said
schools of
earlier
thinking.
about how, at least in 2001, one of the few things we had was there's some mysterious temple in the middle of the island. Wait a minute, we got that now. We've got a whole city,
Yeah. The ancient
which has
city.
more going on for it than Kenny knew he did at the time.
Kinikoto. I don't know.
Yeah, Kenny knew it was kind of lame.
Kenny knew he was cool.
so cool.
It was kind of lame.
It came to be important, but at that point in time, it was squat.
It was just a relic. We didn't know anything about it other than, oh, well, yeah, that's cool.
Just
Yeah.
like the ancient city.
It's just different
Right.
schools of thinking. That's all it is. Some people prefer the character-driven stories. Some people prefer world building. This whole thing has been an interesting discussion because I recognize the values of world building and how it shaped Bionicle G1.
Of course.
But 2006 was my favorite year, and that was on Voya Nui. So go figure.
Yeah,
I also
well,
like-
Yeah,
granted,
there was like no world building.
No.
actually, Vinog had all the locations that were featured in other forms of media.
And 2009 was my second favorite year.
Just because Vinog had the locations, though, it doesn't mean it built the world. I mean, we already knew about the different locations.
Yeah, Vinog really wasn't much of a world-building game.
Well, sure, but it did give us visual representation for those locations. It did allow us to...
Yeah, but not necessarily canon visual representation.
Fair, very fair. But
it also
gave us
stems from the
something.
fact that Voya knew it was boring as the charred, rocky dirt that sat on it.
It's not like there was really much there. I mean, I guess you could also say that the Bionicle Heroes also gave us a visual representation of Voya Nui, but that is most definitely not a canon game.
At most,
true.
Voya and the Vinog give us Nectan.
Nectar.
Yeah, Nectar.
Yeah, true.
Be the best. So
That's
yeah,
pretty much
it's just
it. A couple more
different
Rahi to
schools
work
of
with.
I
Yeah.
do not inherently
Gaffna and
think that
Burnick.
because Bionicle does not have a fleshed out Okoto means it can't be good in other aspects. It's different. It'll be good in different ways. I don't think Bionicle G2 is ever going to replicate G1. And quite
That's kind of the
honestly,
point.
I don't think that's what it should be. Yeah, I think that if they've already gone so far like off the beaten path, don't try to go back to it. Just try to make it good in its own way.
Yeah, I don't want the same thing I had 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I already have plenty of that.
You already have enough
I've
of
got my
that.
fill of that. Yeah, I want something different now.
I want them to go back to how it was 9 years ago. I want gritty Okoto chain link fences
Oh my gosh.
and like
no.
all American rejects.
Has that seriously
back
been
again.
9
No.
years?
Yeah, it has
Yeah.
been 9 years.
Oh, wow.
Think about it. I remember.
That's
Oh my
kind
God,
of
it's
something
been-
I was
it's been
thinking about
15 years.
is 2001 was, what, 14 years ago?
15 or so. Yeah, no, 14.
Yeah, 15. Well,
Okay,
yeah, 14
so-
if 2001. But
Assuming
Yeah.
that the age of, I don't know what you want to call it, understanding was like 5 years old, that means anyone who is complaining about, the comparisons between G1 and G2 as far as the first year goes, has to be at least about 20 years old. Just food for thought.
That's interesting to point out.
Because I feel like even age 5 might be pushing it, where you can actually like get a grasp on everything.
see, that's
enough
what I'm
to
trying
make
to
this
say
argument.
as far as like it's easy to say with hindsight how much story plot stuff we got in 2001 when you're able to connect the dots and look at all the stuff we got on a wiki.
I'm just
But it's-
fascinated by the part
But it's
that
different
people
if
are
you're
20 years
actually
old.
living during that time frame and actually getting this information given to you. I think we're all exaggerating how much story content was really available and commonly known for people who were trying to learn what was going on.
Well, I mean,
In
what was
two-
Bionicle's website in 2001? Did they have
Say what?
bios of the Toa? Like Bionicle's
Yeah.
2001 website.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They
no,
have,
they
like,
had bios of
info
the
on
Toa,
it.
they had bios of the Tohunga, Turaga, and even the Tohunga that didn't come out as sets that only appeared in Monog. Although, however, now that I think about it, that might have been later, those like separate bios for the Chroniclers company. Might have come out in 2002. I'm not 100% on that.
I'll go
In that
way back
case,
machine just to
you
check.
wanna know
I
the sad
demand
truth of all this?
equivalency. I want a bio for the baby protector and what.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, here's Frank. He doesn't know how to say English.
He doesn't know how to say
You really want to know the sad truth of why all this
He
is
doesn't
coming
know how
up?
to say the word English.
Yeah,
English.
English.
What, Takuma?
So you want to know what was really the sad truth of why these debates and criticisms are coming up?
Yeah.
And I'm going to sound like one of those people, but it's
Uh-oh.
because we live in the age where all the information you could possibly want is right at your fingertips. Everyone,
No, you're right.
everything a person needs to know is seconds away, so it's got to be now.
Yeah,
Correct.
slam! I love doing that.
Whereas back then, I mean,
Come on,
We just-
jam.
we had
And welcome to-
dial-up.
Wait, come on and slam. There we
No,
go.
I remember dial-up.
if we wanted information, people were probably still going to the library or looking in books.
Right,
Oh.
yeah. It's not like you could just
Now
went
everything
to
is instant, and the
Bionicle.com
fact
all
that we're not
time.
getting all of our story and all this world building instantly is, it's because it's the sign of the times, I guess you could say.
Yeah, if you went to Bionicle.com, it would take you like an hour to load up half the images on the website.
You always knew when you playing Monog, you knew when you were about to get a cutscene instead of just another game scene because it took so much longer to load.
Right.
So very true.
And the playable parts didn't go by so fast that they were actually playable.
We can't. It's really not comparable to try and take the start of this line and compare it to the start of a line that happened 15 years ago.
For reasons other than everything about it itself.
Yeah, it's just
the time we live in changes everything.
Right.
People are impatient,
and this is why
we are an impatient culture.
In a year from now, when we actually know everything that we got for this year, and can say without a shadow of a doubt that, oh wow, they didn't give us anything, then we could start making comparisons.
Yeah.
But while we're still here in the year, and there's still story content potentially on the way, we can't be like, oh yeah, they screwed up the story.
Yeah.
It's signs of the time.
To quote someone, and something he said, I think they're still kind of testing the waters, or they're at least wrapping up the testing of the waters, and they kind of now know what they're doing and what they want to do.
We know that for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah. And you will know that too next week.
Yeah.
Hype.
Cryptic. Okay. Let's see. Do we have any other message boards?
Well, actually, I guess it wouldn't be next week. It would be this week.
Yeah, it'd be pretty soon. I'm not going to say an exact date.
When I'll be in Disney World.
Oh. You won't be.
So we can argue about old Bionicle some more.
Oh.
Or no, actually, I misspoke. We could argue about new Bionicle some more.
I think we hit our.
How about we argue about old Bionicle? No, we gotta argue more.
Well, I think we should make it a short.
I'm too tired for this. I'm gonna go back, listen to this episode, and be like, I've got no clue what I was talking about.
Not really.
I think I've become more articulate as the thing has gone on.
That's because you're sobering up.
You don't sound as angry anymore. You were weird earlier.
Arguing makes me happy. Negativity brings me joy.
Oh my goodness, you're like the anti-Makuta.
Yeah.
The anti-Makuta.
Anti-Kuda.
Anti-Kuda.
Anyway, 2006 or 2007, which is better?
2007.
There was a poll on our message boards and it got
2006.
closed. 2006. Takuma, you be the swaying vote.
Well, it's already kind of canted against me.
You would not have Takuma votes with you, would you? Which is
as far as us?
2007.
Wait, I'm confused. Why am I deciding vote?
Just, which is your favorite, 06 or 07?
Okay, so 06 was the Inika and 07 was the Mari, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Come on, Takuma, you should just know this.
Takuma.
Shut up.
I honestly didn't really prefer one over the other a whole lot.
Well, cool. Still canted against me.
Yep. Right where you belong, last place.
However, on the flip side,
favorite years.
I don't know. I didn't like the setting for 07. When I play a video game, I do not like the underwater levels. I do not like underwater movies. Underwater, no.
I think that's a big part of why I don't like 07.
Which is weird because then, I look at other things. It's like, oh, if I was in the Avatar universe, I'd totally want to bend water.
Yeah, the same here.
I was surprised by how many people actually prefer 2007 to 2006.
Yeah, I was too. I actually wasn't expecting that.
I can't believe it's that skewed.
Aside from the emotional gut punch, soul crushing,
I guess as
despair.
Far as
that was Matoro's death. I don't
calm down.
Oh my goodness.
Matoro's death was the worst part of 2007. Not because I'm all, oh no, they killed off the character. It's just I didn't feel it. I know that they spent time trying to build up this death, but I wasn't really feeling it.
You're a cold and heartless
I got
person.
that comic. It was like Matoro died, and I was like, oh wow, they did that. Why do I not feel more?
I think the reason why 07 is so popular is because a lot of the fans that are currently active got into Bionicle during 07.
Yeah.
Which is funny because 2006 was supposed to be the sort of
reboot.
Half-baked reboot, or whatever we'll call it.
Better reboot than 2009.
Soft reboot, that's what I was looking for.
Yeah, but that year is kind of past us at this point, I think, and I think a lot of the fans that joined during 06
I kind of like the sets more in 07,
are a little less active than the ones that joined in 07.
Yeah.
I'm sure in a year or two we're going to have people that were fans of 08 more than any other line. or any other year.
Absolutely. I'm
then
waiting for
09.
those folks, because those are the folks that are going to say, when are the 08 retap reviews?
I'm looking forward to the 09 fans, so I can be among friends.
I hate 09 so much. And I hate all the 09 fans. I hate every single one of you.
Why?
Oh,
Bar
no.
You guys are just annoying.
Why?
You make the most annoying complaints and annoying
Okay, look,
arguments
you know what?
because you don't know anything.
You know what? I have the Mononui's Guide to Bar Magna right here.
Oh my god, I don't even want to hear about Bar Magna. I don't even...
They
what
made a
is
book
Bar
about
Magna?
it. They made a book about it. They didn't make a book for... It was like, Zactan's Guide to Voyanui, or like
I
Dekar's
hated
Guide
the
to
location, I
Mari
hated the
Nui.
worlds, I hated everything that they did with that one.
You know,
No, it was great.
that actually
I mean-
reminds me, Var, you, Kahi, and I were having a discussion about Bionicle fans and the time they got into the series affecting their view of things later on.
Oh yeah, I had a long argument with Meso about this.
Oh, yeah, I remember. It wasn't on the podcast. It was out of call.
It wasn't on the podcast. Okay, so I actually made this... I made a comment. We were looking through old pictures of Bionicle, right? And I saw a picture of Strack. And I was like, man, Strack looks like a Hero Factory set. And Meso...
I was like, nope.
He denied it. And we got into a fight about it for like a good hour or so.
It was late at night, too. It was like early in the morning.
And I think that really, I guess that kind of just shows the different aspects of Bionicle and how if you got into the line at a certain time, certain things may appear differently to you. Because to me, when I see Strack's helmet, for example, that's what really stood out to me.
It's the face that does it.
Yeah, the face. The helmet design itself, I made the point that if you were to take a random Hero Factory head, I don't know, anything really, and then just take the Strack helmet, and then take, a mask from 01, and put them all next to each other, I have a feeling that the majority of people would think that the Hero Factory helmet and the Strack helmet would go together more than the mask would.
Okay, I've got a legit question that just occurred to me. Because I can't remember what they all look like right now. Is Strack the only one who has his face completely covered by his helmet? His is almost more of a mask, whereas everyone else you can usually see a little bit of the front of their face in some way, shape, or form.
There are a couple others.
The Glatorian.
Terex, Gresh, Skrull.
Let me see.
Yeah. It's and then the counter argument that I made was, well, you could have said the same if you looked at Paraka spines, or Paraki heads, or any of the out there stuff that Bionicle did as it went on. The aesthetic changed, but it was still Bionicle.
But the thing is that I didn't associate that with Bionicle aesthetic. I associated 01 mask with Bionicle aesthetic.
Yep.
And that's really what showed the difference in our mindset, was that Meso, who got into the line later down the line, basically.
Okay.
I was a fan since it began, but I had my renaissance in 08.
Right, you got into the line, actually got into it.
Yeah.
Later in.
Okay, just on what LJ said about Gresh and Skrull. Yes, their helmet covers their whole face, but doesn't have any sort of a mouth to it.
No. You were asking if there were any others like it. And Skrull has a mouth.
Yeah, I mean,
granted,
those ones do completely cover their face, but Strack has a big toothy mouth grin. The others look no different than, say, a regular old knight's helmet, where covered the face, but you don't have a mouth there.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. That's very true. And I'm trying to think. I'm sure there's some I'm not thinking of right now.
That's just what, for me, I have to agree with Var, that Strack looks, simply from his helmet, looks Bionicle Factory.
Yeah.
Or Hero Factory.
Wow.
Bionicle Factory. Oh, I thought you were making a joke. It's Bionicle, but it's also Hero Factory.
That should be a term now.
You know what's really
the
sad?
Bionicle that looks Hero Factory. It's Bionicle
What?
Factory.
No, so.
I'm looking at this map of Bar Magna, and this is more fleshed out than Okoto.
Wow, that's great.
Twice or 3 times.
We also had 2 years with it, so hey.
Well, we had a year and a half.
One book.
It's more than we've had so far.
The white quartz mountains.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I don't know. I just felt like Strack really resembled a Hero Factory set to me. He seemed like if they were to release Strack and label it Hero Factory, I wouldn't question it. It looked like a Hero Factory set to me.
Yeah.
I mean, it uses Bionicle parts, but there are Hero Factory sets that use Bionicle parts. It's not like it's that different.
Yeah, but they were designed specifically to emulate the Bionicle style.
Well,
Like,
regardless,
there's a certain aesthetic which is noted.
And see, that's just not the Bionicle style to me.
To me, I Nika build is Bionicle aesthetic.
Yeah, see, that's
The
not
super
that's not
detailed, like, thing. Which
granted, the Automata had a very similar detailing to themselves with all the pistons, and that's something. The pistons is something that Bionicle kept for the majority of its run, the majority of its pieces.
The piston is Bionicle.
The pistons that didn't make any sense at all with the other place.
Oh yeah,
like
no.
Don't
get me wrong.
That literally would have no purpose at all.
Don't get me wrong. I understand, but yeah, I mean they were there.
They were there.
They were the aesthetic.
I'll be fair. It definitely makes them look more robotic, especially the earlier sets.
Mm-hmm.
But let's be real here. Those pistons serve no purpose at all.
How do we know? We don't know their biology. Maybe they do.
Dude, come on now.
Yeah, they're all Mr. Incredible and can extend their arm, don't you know?
I mean, hey,
Mr. Incredible.
We don't know. We don't know.
Wait, Mr. Incredible from like the Incredibles? You mean Mr. Fantastic, right?
Did I not say Mr. Fantastic?
No, you said Mr. Incredible. And I swear this time.
Okay, Mrs. Incredible.
Do that, yeah.
Mrs. Incredible.
Oh, okay, yeah, there we go.
Yeah, there you go. That works. Can we just end this episode now? This sucks.
But VAR, we're debating. Okay, fine.
We're at an hour. We made our time. We put in our time.
Yeah, we talked about Bionicle. Satisfied everyone.
What's up?
Do you want to tell your story?
Sure. I graduated this week.
Good job.
Awesome. That's not your story.
All right, well,
No, but let me tell you, I was getting mad at some people. You know, they say, hold your applause until after everyone has received, their degree or whatever. And there were people that, woo! And every time that happened, I wanted to punch somebody.
Nice.
Unfortunately, I was sitting next to two of the people I liked most out of my class.
Takuma Nova gets expelled from his graduation
Basically,
ceremony.
you just hate happiness.
No, I don't hate happiness. I hate people who won't listen and pay attention. It's a nice ceremony, and people gotta ruin it with their hooting and hollering.
Hooting and hollering.
You sound like such an old fart.
You do.
Oh, believe me, I'm still fresh and smelly.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
But there was cookies.
Takuma
there was lots
is
of
the
cookies.
oldest one of us here.
Okay, so real quick before we end, I want to say one more thing about I love the back of the book. It says Mononui's Guide to Bar Magna takes you on a journey of discovery through the villages of Bar Magna, its treacherous sea of sand, and its forbidding black spike mountains. You'll get exclusive information on the Agorni, Glatorian, Bone Hunters, and Skrull, and get the inside story of events on this strange world in Mononui's own words.
I really don't care about so
Would you buy this book?
Yes.
So I'm gonna go to bed.
I didn't. So
Okay.
no.
Let me go to bed.
Okay.
I'm sorry, fans. I promise we'll have a better episode next week.
Nah, this episode was fine.
Don't promise what you can't be sure of, Var. For all we know, like
I am misinformation.
Viper's gonna disappear, and Ven's gonna disappear. Well, no, Ven's gonna come back, then he'll disappear. Kai. Sorry.
I appreciate you.
What?
You're the only reliable one here. Everyone else is always off doing.
I beg your pardon.
We're back at the beginning of the episode.
You're reliable, but let's be real here. You don't do much.
I've been on. We're like episode 144. I've been on 141 episodes. I think.
Oh, congratulations! Cool TTV, I guess podcast. Yeah, it takes a lot of work.
I love the podcast.
What's your issue with me?
So much work. Takuma, I just don't care about you.
Well, okay then. That makes two of us.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and end. We're gonna actually have a podcast under an hour. That's nice. So thank you all very much for listening.
Barely.
Stay tuned for cool
I
things.
should just delay for another minute 30.
No. Stay tuned for cool things on the horizon. Rate, favorite,
Seriously,
share, comment,
cool things.
subscribe, follow, etc.
There'll be a lot of cool
champions.
We got a lot of
cool info regarding BIONICLE 2015 coming this week.
A lot of
so.
cool
And
stuff.
we'll
Pay
keep on
attention.
fighting till the end. Bum bum bum.
This is
He's
TTV
Messinac,
144.
Champions.
I'm Messinac.
I'm Barteran.
I'm LJ.
Champions. No time for lose. What? Oh, I'm Takamuba.
Thank you for watching. Goodbye.
We barely made it.
And don't forget the music.
Oh, yeah, you're right. 5. Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, we didn't make it.
I did it!